What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. So today we have got the preview to arguably the biggest game I can think of. Like, the PSG game was massive, but I'd say with what this could potentially lead to and with how this could end our season, it's probably bigger, Gary. It's bigger. God, that's what she said. So how are you feeling, Gary? How are you doing? Obviously, we did our emergency meeting yesterday with a few other Villa Park podcasters. We had Sam and Rich from the Villa Park podcast, and we had Ben from BM Talks as well. If you haven't seen that, please do go check it out. It's a really interesting chat just about the state of affairs at Villa at the moment, what we need to do, in this game, what we need to do in the summer potentially, a variety of different discussions in there. If you are new, please do subscribe. If you do like this, don't have to do it now. Later on, if you agree with what we're saying, or even if you don't agree, because you probably won't agree, hit the like button, give us some comments down below. Gary, I've been waffling for too long.
No, Matt, I think yesterday's emergency meeting helped me get everything I needed to get out and move on from Sunday. As angry as I was, and I was angry, it took me a while, which is why we didn't do anything until yesterday. But now we've got to focus. This is, like you said, the biggest game in the last 30 years for us, easily. It's quite simple, mate. We have to turn up and get the job done. There's no excuses now. Because whatever Emery master plan he has, whether all the nonsense I've heard about throwing games and it's
not doing that.
This is about turning up and about showing a level of commitment and tempo, and showing that we are a good side and deserve to be fifth in the Premier League and in a Europa League final. And as good as Forest have been, and form is, and momentum is important, I still stand by that. At this stage of the season, it comes down to who wants it more. Doesn't matter about how well you're playing. And Forest have been brilliant in the last few games, and we've been atrocious. We've lost 3 in a row. Momentum's against us, you would say. That Forest have got the upper hand going into this game, but I still expect us to, if Emery's putting all his eggs in this basket, which looks like he is, then I expect us to come out absolutely flying, and win the game. That's what my expectation is, and I expect Villa Park to be rocking. The 1897 have been all over social media today, kind of getting everyone together, like bring scarves, like let's get that atmosphere like an absolute cauldron, and let's get the boys over the line. So if you are going the game, bring your scarf. Let's get it absolutely rocking. Let's get Villa Park like an atmosphere that we haven't heard for a while. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it now, mate.
I think the atmosphere is going to be something special. I really do. That we were talking about that PSG game in the quarterfinals of the Champions League and how amazing the atmosphere was. But to be honest, the most amazing part of that was the atmosphere when we looked like we were going to do it. Right, that was when absolutely insane. And that's kind of how I feel about Thursday. I feel like yes, we'll show up, as in the fans will show up. We'll create an atmosphere. It'll be a cauldron of noise. It's under the lights. The fireworks were going off. It will all be there. But if we're not at it within the first 15 minutes, that very, very quickly dissipates, I find, at Villa Park. But if we can get a goal and we look like we're going to get a goal, or if we get a goal in that first half an hour, 35 minutes, mate, oh my God, the roof is going to come off and it's going to be absolute limbs. It's going to be...
Mate, do you know what? I'm gonna go against the grain there, because if you remember that PSG game, mate, we went 2-0 down, and the crowd, and it looked like but goals change games, mate. What we did do in that PSG game, what we have to do on Thursday is come out flying, which is what we did against PSG. They hit us on the counter attack and scored 2 goals. We've got to run the risk. Do not want to see what we saw last week at the City ground. Martinez standing on the ball for 20 minutes while he's waiting to pass it out from the back. Like this slow, monotonous, boring kind of, let's invite teams onto us. No. I want to see every player on that pitch running themselves into the ground from minute 1 to, if it goes all the way to penalties, mate. Like, I'm taking my sleeping bag. If I have to stay overnight, right, and make sure it happens, I'm happy to be there, right?
Camping out. Yes, well, obviously we're going to bring in Graham, the father-in-law, but also Andy as well, who wasn't able to join us on the for the first leg preview. I'm just going to add them both in now. Right, guys, how are you doing?
Welcome, boys. Welcome.
All good.
Thank you.
Hello, Gareth.
Nice to see you, everyone.
Yeah. How? I'll go to you first, Graham. Actually, no, Andy, because we haven't had you on for the first leg preview. How are you feeling about this game? Obviously, a lot's happened since the preview of this game. You obviously beat us 1-0 at your place, and then that against Chelsea with a heavily rotated side. How are you feeling about it?
I'm actually, James, feeling quite confident. But I was listening to what you two were just saying, and I couldn't agree more. I think within the first 10 to 15 minutes, I think you'll know and we'll know which Villa's turned up.
Yeah.
And if in 10 to 15 minutes there seems as if there's no urgency, I think we'll cope very, very comfortably with the noise. Somehow, I think you've got to get at us and upset us a little bit. And I was going to be interested listening to you two, what you think will change other than more commitment. I don't know if you're going to play a different way or if there's someone who you think will come in. It'll be a tight game. The bookmakers have got you guys down as heavy favourites, but I'm confident.
Yeah, he won't change the system. He never does. He'll play the same way. I mean, we talked about it on the emergency meeting yesterday, and one of the guys, Sam from the Villa Park podcast, made a really good point. And he was saying for some reason we're playing so much deeper. Whereas you think about when we've looked like we're going to destroy teams or we're really on teams, we're so much higher up the pitch. We've got so many more players loaded into the final third. Whereas we just haven't been having that recently at all. In terms of personnel, Gary, I don't think there's anyone he's going to bring.
No, look,
Anna's fit, really.
It shouldn't. This is the frustrating thing. This is where we'll know how we're going to be tomorrow. The system is the system. We play the way we play. Emery's not changing that. He's a stubborn old fox, I suppose. But it's down to the personnel. Like the system works. It works well. We won 11 games in a row this season.
Yeah.
Right, playing that system, blowing teams away, right, having moments of quality, which we haven't seen in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Right. So it's now down to those players to implement that system. It's time to work it. It's time to make sure we get the ball moving between the lines quickly, that there's options in and around the ball. The last 3 games, Villa have not done that. We've played it so slowly. We've been so easy to defend against. And if we do that again on Thursday, we'll be in trouble. Like Forest, it's a perfect kind of game for Forest to come into. You're 1-0 up. You haven't got to do anything, really. It's all down to Villa. Like, one of the ways to beat us is to play that low block, defend for your lives, because if we don't turn up, we're playing with a bit of tempo, we won't break teams down. Now, if we're on our game and every player, Morgan Rogers, John McGinn, Yuri Tillemans, Watkins, even if Jadon Sancho plays, if we play at a pace and a tempo, these players are good enough to pick teams apart, to move them around and create the space. We just haven't seen that in the last 4 weeks. And maybe this is part of Emery's master plan to bring everyone into full sense of security. Right, Villa aren't going to play with any tempo. We'll just sit back and, we won't have to do much, when actually we'll come and blow you out the water. And we did that exact same thing against Paris last year. It was that we were losing anyway. We were a goal down. It was kind of that they were going to walk all over us. They were going to be the ones doing the momentum, and we blew them away. They simply didn't know what hit them. And my only concern about Thursday, a year ago, we had Marcus Rashford in the squad and we had Asensio in the squad, who were quality players that could damage anybody. We haven't quite got that quality to bring on. What we've got is players who are good enough, i.e. Morgan Rogers, i.e. Yuri Tillemans, i.e. Ollie Watkins when he's firing on all cylinders. And if they decide to turn up tomorrow, then we've got a chance. But they have to be 100% on it. And I'm just a little bit concerned with just the language that's coming out of Villa Park at the moment. In Emery's post-match analysis of Spurs, he was kind of like, well, we lost against Fulham and we lost against Forest, and so that we wanted to change players, and that's what it is. It's not the winning mentality I want. It's not the winning mentality I expect from Unai Emery. I would expect, like I said at the start of this rant, that it doesn't matter who plays in for the Villa. We play a system. So every player that gets replaced should know the system. It's one system. So everyone should know what to do. The fact that we were blown away by Spurs like the weekend is concerning. So, like I say, if McGinn didn't play with rested players, if Onana is back fit and plays, if those two play, then we've got a great chance because we can dominate that midfield. We can bypass Anderson. We can get in between your back lines and we will cause problems. But if we don't, then obviously the perfect game plan for me would Forest be to Forest to sit back, watch us mess up, and then you've got pace with Hutchinson and looks like Gibbs White's going to pass, even though he's obviously had that horrendous injury. Pictures of that. Yeah. And these are players that can cause us problems and cause us problems in the first leg. So yeah, I think, like you said, Andy, I think it's going to be a really tight game. Initially, I think it's going to be like trying to move you apart. But if we can somehow start the game effectively and just get that goal back, then it's going to be game on. And I think it will be like, I guess we mentioned it last night on the pod, didn't we? Like what I'd love to see is just two heavyweights, like throwing haymakers, like a 12th round of a boxing match where let's just go and try and win the game, right? Let's see a game like we watched last week with PSG and Bayern Munich. Just, there's enough attacking talent for both teams to go and try. If we get that goal back, do you know what I mean? Obviously, Forest haven't got to do anything, as I just said. But if we were to score and equalise, then I want to see a game where both teams go for it, not play cautiously and try and think. This is the first time for both of us in many, many years that we're anywhere near a European final. So let's see if we can put on a spectacle.
I think it'll be it will be interesting. I think I'm more interested in probably how Forest set up more than Villa, because I think a lot of people are going to expect us to come out all guns and go at you. And the thing that I think I said to the guys yesterday is that the worry is you're so good on transition that if we do go too far, and Emery will know this, if we go too far, then you're going to catch us on the break, and then it's 2 goals down, and then we're in a real difficult situation. Graham, obviously, Gibbs White, it sounds like it looks like he is going to be playing. Like I said, he's got a horrible wound on his face. And then you've got Aina out as well, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, it looks like there's nothing been said about Aina. I mean, you look at Murillo, his Instagram post, look at he's been on some warm weather recovery. I'm not sure about Sangare. I think he might be involved as well. So I think those two will be involved. But Aina, it looked like a muscular injury. And I can't say anything's been said all weekend. And of course, Zach Abbott, that was a concussion.
Yeah, he's out.
He's out. So whether he shoves Kuna to full back and Murillo comes back in, I don't know. All in all, I'm not too worried, because I think I said on last week's pod that Milenkovic at the minute is such a leader and organising everything in the back four. I mean, you saw Morato yesterday. Probably had his best game in a Forest shirt. People have gone from being heavily critical of him to praising him on podcast today and in social media and everything. And I think
how are you guys feeling about, like, because I think I was saying that I think with the Chelsea goal, I think you've only conceded 2 under Pereira. Am I right in that? I think that's correct. So you haven't really been in much of a position like going behind, I suppose, with this. So if we did come out the blocks and manage to get that goal, how do you think he'd react?
Shall I go, Graham?
Yeah, you go, Andy.
Yeah, because I think we're our strong areas under Pereira, and I think they'll be strong all season. We've just had different managers who haven't really done it. Is we are extremely strong defensively. And I was down there last Thursday, and I was obviously down there as a Forest fan, but I'm interested to see. There's a lot of discussion at the moment regarding going to the World Cup with does Gibbs White go? Does Rodgers go? Does Foden go? Does Cole Palmer go? And great chance to watch Gibbs White and Rodgers on the same pitch. And I think last Thursday, Elliot Anderson, who will certainly be on the plane unless something happens, gets injured. He absolutely ran the show. Not just that little flick that he did, that he ran the show. And Gibbs White is almost a little sideshow to him at the moment. He's running the thing, and if you guys are going to get anything out of it, you've got to get on top of those two in midfield. Really, really. Up front, we're still, even though we scored 3 goals at the weekend, if you look at the goals, they're all the crosses that come in and one touch. There's not, I wouldn't say we're absolutely got oodles and oodles of creativity as a strike force, but we get good balls in, good balls across. And with Chris Wood, or Taiwo won't play, Graham, will he? Because he's not in the squad. Yeah, but we'll get, we won't create loads and loads of chances. We won't. But we'll be very strong defensively, very strong in midfield. And I think it's going to be a really, really great game for the neutral, because I think it is going to be, you guys have got to get something out of the game and you're going to be pushing on. I think it'll be very, very exciting in transition. I think for us four, it'll be hearts pounding and hiding behind the settee.
Well, look, I think my biggest observation over the last few weeks between both teams, right? Obviously, trying to keep an eye on what you guys are doing because we knew this game was coming up. And I've said this on the podcast so many times, probably, I don't know, in the last 6 months, really, that the desire and the want and the passion to win a football match. So forget about your ability, forget about kind of form. It's about your individuals putting in an absolute 110% effort. And watching Forest in the last few weeks has been incredible, the turnaround. Like every player working, every player knowing what they're doing. Watched that Chelsea game yesterday as a second string, and we watched our second string get obliterated by Spurs. In what was for me probably one of the worst performances I've seen in 40 years at Villa Park. I thought it was atrocious. And then to watch the Forest play, I think I texted you, James, and said, "Look, second string players can actually play for the shirt." Right? And all it was, you just outworked Chelsea yesterday. I thought you were to a man. You were just there for every ball in midfield. You were 2 against 1, 3 against 1, closing people down, making it difficult for the opposition to actually play. And that's what we've got to match. If we don't match that, we haven't got a cat and mouse chance. Villa will lose this game easily if we do not match the intensity of what Forest bring. And that's what I expect minimum. And so, but if Villa do that, like if we do match the intensity and match the energy, then I think we've got the better squad and we should win the game. But it's all this buts and maybes. It's like you've got to want it, and that's what my concern is that our mentality is not quite there yet. We spoke about it yesterday on the pod, didn't we, James, about the Wally Watkins did a interview with TNT Sports. I think it was maybe before the first leg, saying that he's never lifted a trophy. He doesn't know what it's like to lift a trophy. We've only got a couple of players that have. There are too many players in our dressing room that don't know what it's like. And it's a mentality. Winning is a mentality. At this level, it's those fine margins, because ability-wise, all these players are good enough to be playing on that pitch. And this is Premier League opposition. This is the pinnacle of football, right? So it comes down to that pure desire. And I just worry that our mentality is not quite where it should be. Now, Unai Emery should be the man to get that to the level it should be. He's the most experienced manager in this competition. He's won it 4 times. He knows how to get over the line. But my word, we have got to see a vast improvement on Thursday night if we are to win this game.
Because I've seen from the outside, I've seen Emery the last 2 weeks. I'm sort of flabbergasted at the things he's said and how he's changed. We've heard about it all the time. His passive nature on the touchline and that, and he's deflecting. About Anderson and things. And it seems unlike him. I'm not as close to it as you guys, obviously, but watching him as close as I can the last 3 years, it does seem something ain't quite really right with him, unless he's playing mind games that I'm not aware of. But why would he do that? I think he was just looking for a 0-0 on Sunday, a quiet game, nice and steady, just giving his players a rest, and it backfired royally. And you got on the back after about 20 minutes. TNT Sport we're showing you all the fans, sort of with long faces and shouting at players and things, and it was it was orchestrated by the TV, that, and then after 70 minutes, you'd all gone home. So
I do love the media stuff. Like, yeah, because Gary Graham was saying at the game they were showing at like 70 minutes floods of people leaving and stuff, and I was like, no, I know. There was a guy in front of us, and people were going, "Oh, you're leaving already?" He was like, "No, I'm going for a piss." I was like, they always orchestrated to make it look like it is worse than it is. But I mean, I did leave. I left like 5 or 10 minutes before the end because I was like, this is atrocious, like so bad. And once again, I missed the goal, but at least it wasn't quite as important. Although it's Emi Buendia again, guys. Maybe I need to start when Emi Buendia is on the pitch. I need to just leave and see what happens.
You should have taken your Forest head off because I don't ever leave the games early. Right, under no circumstance. I pay a lot of money. I ain't leaving the ground early. I don't have drinks beforehand. I don't have drinks at half time. Like I spend a lot of money to watch the football. That's it. Like people can do what they want, and I understand that. But whether we losing or not, I never, ever leave games early. I'm often seen some stinkers at Villa Park, right? Because you just never know. Because we've also had some mad comebacks, and like so, you know, it is what it is, right? I think we've got to try and support the team, and the media will always do that, right? They always kind of try because I think I even went got up after just after half time to go to the toilet. They could have. It would have looked like I was leaving, you know. But
it's the thing. Like we said before, I think I don't know if we know anything about Onana's injury and his fitness. I don't know if there's been anything Gary has come out, but the second he went off,
let's have a look.
The second he went off injured and Bogard came on, I was worried. I was just like, not good. Because, I mean, against Spurs, he was awful. He was just absolutely all over the place. And against your lot, he's not strong enough. And if you've got Anderson and Gibbs-White in that centre of the park, he's just got absolutely no chance. So we need Onana. McGinn apparently it was a precaution because he felt a little bit of a tight hamstring against Spurs, so he didn't play. So he will be playing on Thursday. And if Onana's out, I'd personally put McGinn in that pivot role, and I'd put Sancho or Bailey out on the right. As bad as they can be, I just think if we have Bogard in the middle, you guys will have a field day because he's not strong enough. McGinn is so solid. He's just energy, pure passion, pure desire. He'll come in, he'll go and crunch and tackle on one of your players, and that'll set the tone. That's what McGinn will do.
I think he needs to play, James McGinn. I think the hole gets deeper if he doesn't play, because he was last Thursday. He was the one Villa player who looked like he had a desire to inject some pace, some energy, some aggression, and he went off, didn't he? I can't remember. It was second half, I think he went off.
Yeah.
And honestly, the second he went off, by the way, literally there was just acres. He went up because he's on that right hand side. He went off. I think Rodgers went out onto the right, if I remember rightly, and then all of a sudden, Anderson and Gibbs-White were doing that little nutmeg kind of like thing down your left hand side, and I was just like, it's just wide open. It's so wide open.
I mean, that would be worst case scenario. If McGinn is not fit, apparently he had a slight pull on his calf, which is while he was rested on Sunday. But if he does not play, I'm not looking forward to that game.
The task gets, because at least he will inject. He'll play his normal game and he will be energetic and he will be aggressive. And, the rest of them probably need to feed off him a little bit. If he doesn't 100%. Play, somebody else needs to step up and
that's our problem, Andy. We haven't got anyone who has stepped up into that role. Nobody, like when he was out injured, when we talked about this last night, when he was out injured, I expected that player to be Onana. And as good as Onana's been this season for us, he's had moments. He didn't step into that leadership role. McGinn not only brings energy, but he's a clear leader on the pitch. And we need 11 John McGinns on Thursday if we're going to win this game. We need everybody at that level. And that's the most disappointing thing for me this season from Villa. When the goings got tough, not just this season, in the last 2 seasons, we've bottled big games, the FA Cup semi-final, the last day of the season against Man United when we could have got Champions League football. Where were these players that could lead us over the line? And that's what I say. As I said earlier, the mentality worries me. I don't think it's not saying we can't do it. I'm going to be incredibly positive on Thursday. I'll be there bright and early, singing my heart out, backing the team 100%. But I think you'd be naive to think. I've had a couple of arguments with people online about being negative, and it's not about being negative. It's about being realistic, right? If we turn up thinking we're just going to walk all over you on Thursday, we're going to get beat. Like, you have to go in with a recognition that to win this game, we've got to turn up. We've got to be at our very best. Like, and people will go, some Villa fans have said, Forest, they're in a relegation battle. Before you played Chelsea yesterday, look, it was Emery's master plan to beat the squad, and they won't get it. It's just nonsense. It's all nonsense. Like, so, you've gone away with your second string, smashed Chelsea off the park in their own backyard. What's to say you couldn't do that to us? Because if you turn up with that kind of energy, that kind of work rate, that kind of belief, which you should have, you will beat us. Because what we've seen in the last 3 games has been nothing short of pathetic. We've rolled over against Fulham. Terrible performance. I thought for last week, even though we clearly went for that 0-0, I thought it was a lacklustre performance in the semi-final of a tournament. Yes, you don't want to give anything away, but that we didn't even really try and go and win the game. And when we go a goal down, you go, okay, it's caution to the wind. Let's try and get a point. Let's do something different. And actually, we just didn't. We just kept the same tempo, the same kind of thing, and we were happy with that 1-0. And now we've got to somehow, and like, football for me is all about momentum, right? And that's what Forest have at the moment. So that worries me. Like, I don't know how you just magic that up for one game. Do you know what I mean? How does Emery go from actually we've had 3 really poor performances to suddenly turning it on its head to playing the best we need to play? So I'm excited for the game, and I think we can do it, but I am 100% nervous about it because it all depends on what Villa turn up.
Yeah,
the old adage of you can't turn it on and off like a tap.
Yeah.
And I was saying that to you, Graham. I think we have got that mentality at the moment where we are going out and trying for each other. But I remember that you had a barren spell at the start of the season, and something suddenly clicked. And that's why I asked the question about what do you think will change, because it seems a similar period again where it seems for the Villa fans quite flat. Not a lot happened. Then all of a sudden you kicked off and went on this superb run.
Yeah.
And what kick-started that? Because that's what you need to find.
Nothing really changed. It just happened in a game. They just decided to play. Something just worked, and it can be like that. We can just suddenly have this game where it just seems to click. Now, obviously, there's a lot resting on this game, so there's a lot like putting your eggs in one basket to go, it's just going to click on Thursday. And this is the weird thing we were talking about yesterday, and I was saying surely we're not favourites for this game, but the rest of the guys on the pod seem to think apparently we are favourites for this game.
You're heavy favourites.
How? I don't understand how. We're on a 3-game losing streak where we haven't looked like scoring at all. You guys have conceded 2 goals in 6-7 games. You've just battered Chelsea. We've just got battered off the park by Spurs. I don't understand how we're even close to being favourites.
We're 3-1, and I might even have a little flutter actually.
You
guys were about evens.
Wow.
And I think out of the I haven't really had a look. I was just glimpsing at it before I came on here, and I thought I'll have a look. And I think out of the top 10 first goal scorers, they're all Villa, other than Chris Wood and Morgan Gibbs-White. So out of the top 10 first goal scorers, 8 of them are Villa players. So I'm not quite sure whether the bookies are seeing it different to us.
I can only imagine they're just banking on the fact that we're going to come out all guns and they can't see us not scoring. That's it. That's probably it. But that doesn't win the tie. This is what we were talking about yesterday. We were like, a goal doesn't win the tie. You're in the tie.
Yeah.
And we talked about we talked about the PSG game last season, and like Ben was saying we won that game, and Sam was saying but we lost the tie. And it could be the same thing here. We could win. We could win the match. We could go to penalties, and a guarantee if it goes to penalties, we ain't got Scooby's hell chance of winning that penalty shootout, because we cannot take penalties for shit. Like, we are terrible at it. You guys, because you just had the one. You had the penalty shootout against Wrexham, didn't you? Have you had? Yeah, that's the only one you've had.
We've had one a couple in Europe, and we lost against Wrexham. We beat.
It's almost. I mean, when Chris Wood took the penalty, because Gibbs White had got the ball to start with, and Chris Wood took it off him. A great penalty, by the way, that Chris Wood took. And I started to look around a bit. And I thought, you know what, we've not got bad penalty takers. Gibbs White can take a penalty. Nico Williams can take a good penalty. Elliot Anderson can take a good penalty. You know, if Milenkovic has took some super penalties, Murillo. If it goes to penalties, we aren't short of decent penalty takers. I'm not overconfident here because
here's our list of penalty takers. We just hope that Emi Martinez saves them all. That's it, because we've got fucking nobody that can take penalties. Not one player in our squad can score a penalty.
Can McGinn take a pen? I feel like McGinn would just leather it, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, you would think so. It's inexcusable in this day and age, like considering where we are, that we can't score penalties. Well, like we've had many this season, but the ones we've had, we've missed. We lost a shootout against Brentford in the Carabao Cup. We've missed penalties against Bologna. We've not had any in the league, to be fair, but it's hardly reassuring that these guys are practicing enough to. It doesn't fill you with confidence. So we've got to get this game done in extra time at the very latest. So I'd take a 1-0 in 90 minutes and a stunning winning goal in extra time. Do you know what I mean? That would be and just so I can get to my bed before midnight.
yeah. I'll get home for about 2 a.m. Thanks, that guy.
I asked a question of you two guys. I'm sure I was reading something probably at the weekend, really, and about how many minutes Morgan Rogers has played this season, and I'm not. We've talked about a mentality issue, maybe. About do you think you've got tired minds and tired legs? Is the squad too thin?
I think when you talk about Rogers, 100%. Like, I mean, I can only recall one game where he's been taken off, and he got took off for 60 minutes. I can't remember if it was against Gaz, but he got took off once. The rest of that, he's either, unless it's like a heavily rotated team, but even against Spurs, he still played. He plays every single minute, and he will play in the World Cup if he goes. And he'll play, the guy is. The same happened at the end of last season. He was completely exhausted, probably physically and mentally exhausted. The best thing that could have happened on Saturday was for him to just have a break. I don't know why he played. He was terrible. Like everyone else on the pitch was terrible. He's just a shadow of himself.
Mental tiredness.
Yeah, he's just exhausted. He's exhausted. I think part of it is also like, is he had his head turned and all that kind of thing, which is possible. But
he's played 100+ games this year.
Yeah.
100+ games.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
in a calendar year.
Yeah, in a calendar year. 100 games in a calendar year.
Yeah.
The first Premier League footballer to do it, apparently. Right? It is absolutely ridiculous. Because, when you've got elite managers throughout Europe saying,
he's 23.
Well, it doesn't matter about age. Like they are.
No,
he's only human.
He's only 23.
Yeah. He's only 20. Yeah, but they're not bulletproof, are they? And actually,
no, they're not. No.
You've got like I said, you've had elite managers say that the more games we play, the quality of the football dips, because you cannot be at the top of your game playing that level of football. And how many 23-year-olds, like you said, James, there have played that amount of games? Or you might have had veterans do it, like who have been in and around the, but for a young lad, from his rise from joining Villa 3 seasons ago to 100 games plus, is ridiculous. I think, especially what doesn't make sense, where we've had opportunities to rest him and don't do it.
Yeah.
I think he's only not started one game for under Unai Emery. I think that was in the FA Cup. Like against Cardiff last season. I think it was the only game he didn't start.
And it's also the thing is that the way he plays and his attributes, it's not like he's a player who's just dictating play from the middle of the park and not really running around, just pinging it around. He is picking up the ball, driving, he's strong, he's covering miles, and he's doing it strength at the same time. To do that 100 games in a calendar year, no wonder he's exhausted. And then we don't see the best of him because he's wandering around the pitch because he's probably like, I need to get out there, but I can't. My legs.
But
Yeah.
weren't-
Now,
he's also,
and now at the business end of the season,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't rest him, can you?
No,
You can't rest him.
we can't afford. We've got
You're at the business end. You've got what you've got.
the fact of the matter is the fact that he hasn't got injured, right, in that time frame is unbelievable, right? Is absolutely unbelievable. But the reason why Emery sticks with him, we know why he does, because even when he's been poor, like he's had danger man. He's the man that can turn something kind of on the game on its head, right? He hasn't been nowhere near consistent enough. He's done it this season lots. In that 11-game winning streak, he was the main man. Like he was unplayable, like assisting, scoring. But we haven't seen that for a while, probably 6 weeks plus since the last time I saw him actually have a decent game. That's on Unai Emery for me. That's on Unai Emery to manage that and kind of not be totally reliant. We should be having someone who's competing against him and having a backup plan B, right, where we could play 2 up top. That's why we bought Tammy from January onwards. We could have played Tammy Abraham as a front 2 with Watkins. Whether the debate will always be that Tammy's not good enough, and that's what a lot of Villa fans say. Fine, but what's the point in having a squad unless if you a chance?
Right.
Because all we're doing is burning this guy out. And actually, when we need him, like you said, Andy, he's business in the season. We need him to be firing. He's not quite there. And I hope I am proven wrong. I'm happy to eat the words and go, yeah, Unai Emery knew what he was doing. And if he turns up on Thursday and he's our man that gets us through, then then fair enough. But we've still got, even if we were to win the game on Thursday, we've got to win the final. And again, like that's not as much as we'd be favourites to win it against whether we play Freiburg or Braga, as will Forest, by the way, if you get through. I think whoever wins this tie takes home the trophy. That's my opinion of it. I just think you've still got to go to that final. It's before the end of the season, right? We're still going to have a game to play, after that final. And so, we need everyone firing at their maximum. And at the moment, Villa are a mile off the pace. No, I'm not. Maybe just like when we went on that 11-game run, we'll find some form. I mean, I think it's slightly different this time though, and this is why it concerns me. Right, when start of the season, fine. Pre-season happens. You're coming back. You don't quite start well, right? It happens to teams, and 6 games in we were rubbish, but then we turn it around. We go on this magnificent run. It's the reason why we are where we are. We've won games without playing particularly well this season. You go, oh, maybe something's kind of changing because we're winning games, even though we're not playing particularly well because we've got some quality in our team. But this dip in form, like I don't know how you get that back because it's kind of like just what we talked about tiredness. It's not about we've got a whole season to play and these players have got loads left in the tank. We're now at the business end where everyone's either firing on all cylinders or and knackered and can't just hit the levels that are required.
I agree 100% with that, Gary.
I was waiting for one of you guys to butt in then.
Well, no, I mean, in fairness to Rodgers, we did a job on him last week, and I think we'll do it again on Thursday. And I think a lot of opposition are doing the same. So he's having to work harder to go and fetch the ball. And when he's got it, Dominguez was snapping around and Anderson all night, and we gave him absolutely nothing. And I think this is where Pereira comes in, and he'll come in on Thursday night again. Although he's a calculated risk taker, he appears very good tactically, and I think he'll play it just as we did last week. I think we'll go out positive, and we'll look to score like we have done the last month. You think of the Sunderland game and Porto and that.
So one of my biggest frustrations last week was as well with that, the way you played and the way you handled Rodgers. I think you basically double teamed him most of the time and he struggled with it. Is that why didn't we not adapt to that? Why didn't we? There was numerous times where when Rodgers got the ball, but we're so used to leaving him to his own devices that he'll beat a couple of players. But he's like, that's not practical. When people double team you, that means the space elsewhere. That means another player has to be available. Like you have to kind of get in and around him to offer him an option, right? So. And we just didn't do that. And we haven't done that, not just last Thursday, in the last 4 games, we haven't done that. And it's kind of like, okay, if he is going to be our danger man, then we're making it very easy for the opposition to set up against us because we just go, right, we'll sit 2 on him and they're not going to do anything. So I said this yesterday, the time for spoken words from the Villa and what's coming out of their dressing room doesn't match up with the actions we're seeing on the pitch. So it's now time to put that to one side and it's time to show us on the pitch what we're made of. what the stuff we saw during that 11-game beating run. Because unless we do, then it's going to be a very difficult evening at Villa Park. It really is.
I think the one thing one of the guys said yesterday, I think it was Ben, or was it Sam? No, I think it was Sam, and he said the thing we have to do early, and we have to come straight out, is we need to make Forest scared. We need to somehow rattle you. That's the only way we're going to really get something from this, is because, like you said, you'll be very organised at the back. You'll be very good defensively. You will have that potent counter attack if you need to as well. And if we come at you and we go all guns and we are at it, we get that early goal and the whole stadium is rocking, that's our chance. I think that's the only
difficult.
way.
Yeah, it'll be difficult.
Cool. Right. So straight on to probably now.
James, and apologies, I know I'm taking a little time. Could I just ask a question? Is it the same officials?
Oh God, I hope not.
I know you don't know. I hope it is.
Yeah,
Maranatha Portuguese mates.
He kept the game flowing, and we had Amari Hutchinson kept falling down, and we got an out. I wouldn't have given that as a free kick, and I'm a Forest fan, and very quickly last week, I think everyone realised. I mean, Emery's had his words about Elliot Anderson and that, but I think the game generally, he kept it going really, really well. Gary obviously disagrees, but I didn't know whether we kept the same officials.
Gary,
I'm just having a look.
I don't know if he doesn't agree on keeping the game flowing. I think we're okay. I was,
to
be honest, I was kind of. It would have been crap. It doesn't help us either if the game is constantly starting. We just can't get to any rhythm. We have to have a kind of rhythm to keep going. I think obviously there was some decisions. Obviously, the Elliot Anderson is one that people will talk about, and they'll be like, should he have been on the pitch for later and some of the things he did and stuff. But I mean, personally, I was like, I kind of looked at that and I went, if it was the other way around, I'd be quite annoyed if he got the red. I thought he got enough of the ball. It was a strong challenge, but I know it was dangerous to Watkins. Could have broke his ankle because he genuinely could have. So yeah, I don't know, but I don't know on the refs.
I can't find anything off the top of the Google search.
I think they were Danish, if I remember rightly. But anyway, yeah.
Well, I don't know. The referee was Portuguese last week, wasn't he?
Right. Because everyone's on about.
Gabby did this whole thing on TalkSport. Gabby did this whole thing on TalkSport. He was like, "Need to look into the ref because there's a Portuguese ref and a Portuguese manager." And I was just like, "Gabby, what are you doing?"
No.
Yeah.
Look, for the neutral, I thought it was fine. You letting things go. I thought there was a few free kicks that should have been given both ways, really, that he let slide. And I'm all for keeping the game free flowing, but there were a couple of moments where free kicks should have been given and weren't, and it becomes a little bit frustrating. And the red card, the Anderson challenge, I think it is a red card because regardless of yes, he gets some of the ball, but Watkins is lucky his ankle's not smashed into two pieces because it's dangerous. It's over the ball. I think if that's in a Premier League game, he sees red. I think
the bigger thing is that it wouldn't. Yes, okay, it would affect that game, but he'd be out for this game. I think that's the big kind of thing they would affect. Like, as in, I think from our point of view, we're like, that's what we've missed out.
Well, it's one of them, isn't it? Anderson then goes on to have a man of the match performance. I thought he was outstanding. I thought he was like I think you said mentioned it, and I thought he was by far the best player on the pitch.
He was.
And the fact that VAR didn't even look at that long enough to kind of make a real decision on it. It seemed like the referee wasn't even asked to go and look at it. It was a little bit disappointing. If he'd have gone to the screen and then made up and said no red, I'd have been fair enough. But it felt like a bit rushed. And the handball as well. Like they spent so much time. Like it was handball. It was a penalty. But it didn't. Why did it take so long to decide? Like it's just like if the ball's not out of play, like that's the only thing you're looking at. Not whether it's a penalty, whether the ball had gone out of play, and the fact they still haven't in this day and age got an overhead camera because that's the only angle you need to see, right? Because we play with a sphere and we all know that. So from the side, it can look out, and if it's not, you need to look at it from a bird's eye view. They have cameras everywhere, but they can't get one. It drives me mad, and you waste time like that. So, the referee. I hope that we get whoever it is a decent one, because that what we don't want, what I'd hate for this game to have is a stupid red card for somebody, and so we don't get to see a decent semi-final that it's dictated to by a referee. Hopefully whoever takes charge will.
one last thing before I move on to the predictions is someone commented in the last one saying that when the father-in-law comes on, all the swearing disappears. So fuck, fuckity, fuck. As much as I can, catch up with the fucks.
It runs so much better without too much swearing, lads.
I think that's mainly aimed at me, Graham, and I think what it is my respect for you goes a bit deeper than it does for James. That's all it is.
I don't mind the swearing. It's not,
exactly. Graham, I think you were going to just about to say something.
Well, I was going to say, as long as we've not got the ref we had in 1984 against Anderlecht in the other semi-final, so you'll have to look that one up in history books.
Yeah, I think he might be a little bit old now. Not sure we'll be able to keep up with playing.
Well, it's a good story.
Imagine that if he rolls out. And he's...
well, he's actually dead.
All right.
He died a very rich man.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right. So final bit now onto the dreaded predictions, I suppose, from our side. So me and Gary will go first. So home, Villa, away, Forest. And this is just home. Yeah. So Villa's on the right. Yeah, exactly. And it is just for the 90 minutes, Gaz. So we're not talking about the whole tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to do. It's a Villa podcast. I don't know where to go in my heart and my head. I was caught out yesterday. Everyone went for a Villa win, and then I was the only one that didn't. And they were like, "You didn't get the memo, James."
That's because it's because you're a Forest fan, man. We know it really.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. He's
Come on.
Over the 2.
So
0-2.
And he's going for a 2-0 Forest win.
I am. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Graham, what are you going for? That was mine yesterday.
Yeah. So you said 90 minutes. I think we will win 1-0 in normal time, and I think we'll win it in extra time. I do think we'll win. Yeah. I do, but I think it's going to be a very, very tight game. I can see it going down to the wire, and I think whoever scores first will win the game.
Yeah.
I think we'll catch you on the break again.
I think I'm very worried about.
If we go 1-0, I think you'll have to leave yourselves open. I think we might squeak another one.
If that happens, like I say, I hope we bring the noise like we did against PSG. We went 2-0 down that game. That should have been dead of bread. And then all of a sudden, we came to life, and that's what needs to happen. I'm hoping we can do that from the start. But we said this yesterday on the pod, didn't we? That that as much as you want to be a blind fan and just be really positive and go, yeah, we're going to smash Forest and it's going to do there is no evidence to back that up in the last 6 weeks from the Villa to go, we are in a momentum that's going to win us this game comfortably. So I can't just go, it doesn't matter under the lights, Forest haven't won there for 32 years. Well, records are meant to be broken. Like, the only way you win football matches is by actually turning up and putting in the maximum effort. And if we do that, Villa have got a great chance. If we don't, we lose the game. It's as simple as.
Agree. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Graham and Andy, for joining. Obviously,
I hope it's just a good game.
We will find out on Thursday night. Me and Gary will be there. We'll be under the lights. We will be. Oh God, I can't take it, Gaz. Right, Gaz, you sing it. Final thoughts, Gaz, and sing us out. Go on.
Final thoughts. I don't think I'm going to do much sleeping between now and Thursday. I didn't sleep much last night, and I genuinely it's not. Football, what it does to you is like it just consumes you, doesn't it? Like, I am 47 years old this year, and like I'm just like this. It dictates my whole world, my mood. Like, the kids are going. My daughter said to me today,
because all you've got in your wardrobe is Villa kits, mate.
Well, that's it.
You need to be able to switch off at some point.
I can't. This is the point, mate. Like, my daughter said to me this morning, Dad, what's wrong? You seem like you're in a bad mood. I said, I'm okay. I am okay, but I'm not okay because it's all around this. Like, now I've got 2 days of waiting to get to this game. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to drive me insane. So I just want to get to Thursday, and I want to wake up Friday hoping that I'm going to try and find a way to get to Istanbul. That's what I want. That's the dilemma I want on Friday. So thanks for coming on, guys. Again, if you're here at 49 minutes, make sure you hit the like, hype, and subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one. And as always, every week we follow the boys in Claret and Blue. Peace.
Yeah.